My name is Caroline Nicolai. I run Pario Gallico, living history and experiential archaeology company. And that's mainly where I work on Iron Age everything. Food, cooking, diets, paintings, pigment making, as well as the whole of Iron Age daily life, from clothing, hygiene, jewelry, shoes, how to build a house, where people go to the toilets, everything like that. So today I'm here to chat a bit and present Iron Age clothing, and a Butser team member actually is making their own and would like a little bit more insight into that topic.
Hi Caroline.
Hello! So I hear that you have an interest in Iron Age clothes.
I do, yes. I'm trying to work out how to make Iron Age clothing for myself, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's brilliant for a start. I have had that question a lot in the past few months. So what I've done is I've prepared a few things that you might want to try on. And I'm wearing another kind of Iron Age outfit, so you can see both, well, at least two examples, and then choose what you would prefer to make and what might be the simplest.
Sounds great, Caroline. Oh, I'd love to learn. Yeah, I'd love to know more about this.
What's mentioned in text, usually from Greek and Roman authors, about Iron Age people is colourful, clean, and even the poorer people or the lower classes of society are said to be dressed to their best. And we seem to find exactly that in archaeology. We find mirrors, we find razors, we have little combs. It's both simple, elegant, practical, and it's much closer to what we can wear in the 20th and 21st centuries. So we are 900 BC to say 1st century AD. I stop at BC because I quite like BC, and I come from France where the Iron Age stopped at 52 BC. So say 900, 100 BC, there we go. The problem we have in the UK is that there's not many finds at all. There's really a lack of evidence for Iron Age clothing. So we need to try to figure out what can be found in other places from the same time period, roughly the same climate, and basically where there is something we can use to try to portray the Iron Age the best we can at the moment in the 21st century. So this one, that's the Huldremose Woman's outfit. So that's what I'm wearing at the moment. It's a bog body, so the woman has been found wearing this outfit. We know its clothes, we know how it was worn. Unfortunately, the weird thing about these is that they have been discovered in 1879, and they thought the body was a murder at the time. So the police got involved. Then only a week later, I think they realized that it wasn't a murder, it wasn't the person who disappeared. Long story short, the wife of the doctor who was keeping the clothes washed them.
Oh, no.
So they are 2.5 thousand years old, roughly that, and they have been washed by hand, 1880s, dried, hung to dry in the garden, and then sent to the museum, well packed and really nicely done. So we lost a few key information there. So the idea is that you have a skirt that's virtually a really long rectangle of fabric, sewn together in that way. In a feather stitch, I think that's called. And you have a leather drawstring that's woven into the top of the fabric. I find that incredibly practical. There was on the bog body, on the very skin of that woman, imprints of a fabric on the part of the body that was against the floor, against the peat. And that fabric is vegetal fibres. For decades, many people thought that she had a skirt and just a shawl and nothing under. How exotic in Denmark. That didn't really make sense, but there was no evidence. Now there is evidence, and under it you have a long tunic. It's incredibly important because you sandwich your very precious wool that's very hard to wash between two layers of very easy to wash type of fabric. The Huldremose Woman didn't have shoes on, didn't have socks on, there was nothing on the feet. So I have looked deeper into shoes and socks for the Iron Age. They are not the best because I make them myself and I'm really not a seamstress. I cannot stress enough how simple these types of clothing are to make. Think in squares and rectangles.
Yeah, I can work with that. I don't like 21st century patterns, so just when you said an oblong, I thought, I can sew an oblong.
That's the thing. What has been found in the same bog as the Huldremose Woman is the Huldremose peplos.
Goodness, that's big.
It's a little bit big. So it's a big tube of fabric made on a tubular loom. In essence, it's interpreted as a peplos dress. Instead of talking about it, what about you try it on?
Okay then, yeah, let's go for it.
So we should start ideally by the undertunic. You have the head there.
Yeah, thank you.
And the sleeves on the side.
Feeling more Iron Age already.
There you go. Done. So for the peplos, and I'll just drop it around you. Whoop.
Right, so
and you can hold
the
onto
side.
the sides.
Yeah.
That's it. So basically you can now, so there are some, you will see, some stains on it because I wanted to dye it. Unfortunately, the dye didn't take just on some spots. So I'll re-dye it in any case at some point. So if it's on the floor and you want it a bit higher, then you will be able to turn it inside out. So say if you could hold it there, please. Thank you. And let's do that on that side. Everybody seems to wear the peplos in a slightly different way. I prefer when it's tight on the back, exactly like you have it there, so it warms up your neck.
Yeah, feels nice.
And I like having a little fold at the front. So what you can do is with one hand, for example this one, so I would take that part, and you can now hold it just there, and I'll take this one. In terms of brooches, I have two replicas from Iron Age Britain that are from the 1st century BC, so we are bang on into the right time period. You pass it through like if you were sewing two pieces of fabric together, pushing it through, gathering, and then closing. And then for the second one, exactly the same.
It feels nice and snug at the back as well. It just feels nice.
These tablet woven bands, they shouldn't be used as belts. But the problem I have in Iron Age Britain is that I really struggle to find information about belts. But if we again look at bog bodies, well, there's one with a belt on. It's only made of leather. Leather, a hole in a piece of leather, you push it through, loop it, done. So if you're not very, very lucky and find that bog body that has a belt, it would never have occurred to me that you could make a belt that works perfectly well with no attachment. It's just leather. You look great.
It feels very
really
comfortable
good.
and warm.
Work. I wanted to show you that because that's a sheepskin that has been tanned. I've tanned it on a course. It's tanned naturally with bark and brain a bit. So there's fats, and that is highly waterproof. The Huldremose Woman was found not with a woolen tunic, but with two very big sheepskin cloaks. There's one more thing for your outfit if you wanted to. There's a cloak that has been found that is called the garum cloak. It's gigantic. I might give you a piece of it. Oh, here you go. So if you could hold that.
Oh wow.
So it's that long, but also it's doubled over. It's a very big oval shape. It was found folded in half in the middle, so as it is now. So you end up with a length on your shoulder. Then, as usual, it goes all the way around, all the way around, all the way around, all the way around. And it was basically pinned on top there of your shoulder. So you have access to, well, your arm, at least one, and this one is covered.
Yeah, still got movement.
Yeah.
And a lot of warmth.
A lot of warmth.
That's just added another super level of
what I
heated
mean?
to, yeah.
Well, here you go. You're ready, basically.
Oh, fabulous. I've learnt so much, and so much so that I think I've started the tunic incorrectly, so I'm going to go back to the drawing board. And also she made it so really understandable that, you know, it's just a tube, and I love Iron Age sewing. It's much more easier than 21st century sewing. It's going to be great.